Hello everyone, welcome to this webinar conducted by the Diganta Section Foundation on how to use Google Forms to create questionnaire or quiz for online examination. So the prerequisites to create a question paper using Google Forms is a Google account to log into the Google Forms. Open up the Google Forms and select the blank as a new form we want to create. Here we can add the title for this form as Diganta quiz and description as sample quiz or sample maths quiz for class 7. Now the first question could be, let's say, an algebraic equation. So now there are two ways to do this. Since Google Form does not support algebraic equations, how we can achieve this is by either creating the question paper manually, that is by writing the equations and scanning those equations or the question papers into the computer and then adding that as a picture using this picture or an insert image option. But in my opinion, a better way is to create the equation on a Microsoft Word document and then copy paste it from there. So how to do that? For that we need to have the Microsoft Word and the equation that we want to present or add to the Google Form. So for example, if I have this equation as here, x square minus 16 fraction 2 x square plus 18x plus 18 1. How do I add this equation to the Google Form? So first I have to create this equation in the Microsoft Word and then from there I will copy this equation to my Google Form. So going to Microsoft Word. So how do I create an equation here? Click on insert. There will be multiple options available here, but you will see there is a section called symbols, and if you click on that there will be multiple subsections: equation, symbol, number. Now if I click on equation, it gives me certain options there. If you see, the layout of the document has changed a bit. Instead of text, now it is giving me everything mathematical: fraction, script, radical, integral, large operators, brackets, trigonometry, etc. So for example, I want to create this equation which is x square hyphen 16 and it's a fraction. So here if you see, it gives me an option of fraction. I click on this and I select how do I want to represent my fraction as. Let's choose the first one. Click here on the first part and I type x power square, so it becomes x square. Another way of doing it is let's delete this one, okay, and if I go to this ex, it gives me the subscript and superscripts. So if I select this one, power option, it gives me this. Since we have this additional box, we can delete it. So let's do x square. So there are two ways: x power symbol and 2 that translates into x square, or I can use the script option. Now if I do plus here, sorry, it was a minus sign, so I put a dash and 16. Now I come back here, which is x square plus 18x plus 81. So again x over 2 plus 18x plus 81. So it gives me the exact equation that I wanted to present to the students as a question to solve. Then copy it from here, and if I go to my Google Docs, I can type it in here. So again you see it's taking the options as the symbols available. So if I go back to that Word document, I can take a picture of this Word document using the snipping tool, like this. I save it as in my download section as, let's say, equation 1, and if I do save, so it is now saved in my downloads as equation 1. Now I can simply close that and go back to my Google form, the picture, browse, go to the download sections, select this picture, open it up. It will upload the picture over here. If you see, now I get the picture and I can mark it as question 1. Now I can give the options here as what is the solution to this answer. Let's say if my question is, if x equals to 2, solve the following equation. So now I can give my answers here. Nine, 10, -2, whatever the value of this equation is when x is considered as 2. It could be none of the above. Okay. Now if I want to make it as a quiz where I can specify what the correct answer is going to be, and also if I can give the mark weightage to this particular question. So what I need to do is select it as required, then I go to the settings. There are certain options here: general, presentation and quizzes. So general is when I select on collect email addresses, right? So before the question it will ask the student to provide their email addresses. Okay. Respondents can edit after submit, see summary charts and text responses. I don't want to do that because I do not want the respondents to be able to edit after they have submitted their answers. I can show the progress bar if I click on the presentation, which means the students would know how many questions they have completed and what is their progress bar. And shuffle question order is if I want to present each student with different order of questions, I can use this option. Coming to quizzes. So it gives me an option if I want to make this a quiz. If I select this, it enables this whole form as a quiz. I can either select to release grade with the options immediately after each submission, that is as soon as the students submit their answers, or later after manual review. Respondents can see missed questions, correct answers, point values. So respondent here is the student who is taking up the quiz and sending the responses back to the teacher. So I can specify if they are able to see how many questions they missed, what are the correct answers and what are the point values. So I don't want to. Let's do the point values. Save. Now I can specify what is the answer key. Let's say if the answer is none of the above, and I can specify the points that I want to give to this particular question. So points here could be considered as marks. So if I want to mark this question equivalent to, let's say 4 points or 4 marks, so I'll put it 4. So it's done. So in case if I have selected the respondent to see the answer feedback, I can select the correct answer for this one and also the marks to be awarded on every correct answer to this question. Also, since I have selected to collect the email addresses, the student will have to fill up the email addresses. Similarly, I can add more questions here. Let's say Q2. So if I want to create certain questions like this, how many terms are there in the expression? 1.2ab minus 2.4b plus 3.6a. So I go back to my Word document to write this question and then capture that image back. But since here we do not have an equation which cannot be created using the simple keyboard, we can simply go to the Google Forms and type this question. So my question is how many terms are there in the expression. So let's type this first. how many terms are there in the expression. So let's see what our expression is. 1.2ab minus 2.4b plus 3.6a. So 1.2ab minus 2.4a plus 3.6b and question mark. Again, this is a required one. If I want the students to be able to not answer or choose whether they want to answer a question or not, I can remove this required setting here. Again, there will be no marking for this one. Now I can add the options here. So what my options were there in that question? 1, 2, 3 and 4. So if I do 1, 2, 3 and 4. So Google also gives you some suggestion based on what is the input coming while creating that form. So I provided the first option as 1. So Google gave me certain suggestions like 2, 3, 4. Instead of me typing it, I just need to click on those suggestions. I can always type those suggestions as well. But so let's say I want to add the answer as 3. Answer key, and if I add the answer as 4 and point as 2, so done. Now if the students gives the correct answer, the question will be marked as 2. So this is how you create a question paper using Google Forms. The reason I chose for mathematical quizzes just for the sheer complexity of adding the equations and other terms while designing the questions. Now I can choose whom I want to take up these questions or the question paper. So I can specify the email addresses of the respondents whom I want to take up this quiz. I can create a message to be sent with each email. This is the maths quiz, and I will click the send button, and everyone with the email address specified in this section will get the emails along with the quiz link. You can also select include form in the email. Now what are the collaborators? Collaborators are the people who have the edit access to this form or the questionnaire. So if someone wants to add or remove questions from this question paper, I can give them the access using this add editors option. So I just need to specify the email addresses of either people or group and send it there. Okay, let's go there at collaborators. So one option I mentioned was to add the email addresses of a group or people, or simply copy the link or send the link over the email or WhatsApp or Facebook or any messaging platform or service. Done. Similarly, if I want to collect the responses from everyone who has taken up this quiz, I can simply configure it here using create new spreadsheet, create. So here they'll get the fields that I have created in the question paper: email address, score, question, question 2, question 3, question 4, and it will capture the answers here that they have selected while taking up the quiz, and I can get the score here as well. So this is how we can design a question paper or a quiz using Google Form and Microsoft Word software. There are certain third-party softwares available to create these equations, but I found the Microsoft Word the most helpful and easiest one to understand and draw the equations. With that, we have come to the end of this session. I hope you all found it very informative and very helpful. Thank you for your time. Have a good day.